Hello duelists, Rustmarrow here, and today we are going to be opening the brand new structure deck R, Undead World. As usual, we have a rulebook and a playmat, and of course the playmat will definitely feature the brand new zombie support monsters that are being printed in this structure deck. And up here on the right we have this awesome new iteration of the Red Eyes archetype in the form of Red Eyes Undead Necro Dragon, also known as Zombie Necro Dragon in the TCG. And on the left we have the main deck boss of this structure deck, the Spirit King Drochshúile. Now moving on to the actual cards, we are starting off with the absolutely epic new Synchro evolution for Red Eyes Zombie Dragon, Red Eyes Zombie Necro Dragon. I mean, just look at that artwork. It just looks so awesome. It's like a dragon of darkness with that spiritual fog right there. I swear this is currently my new favorite Red Eyes monster. So this new Red Eyes is level 7 and you're going to need 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters to Synchro summon it. It gains 100 attack and defense for each zombie monster on the field and in both players' graveyard. So typical powerful support for zombies. If you're playing a zombie deck, you're going to want to add this guy in, especially if you're playing Synchros, and you'll have a really powerful beater for the mid game and late game. This monster named second effect can only be activated once per turn. When another zombie monster is destroyed by battle, you can special summon one zombie monster from either player's graveyard to your field. So I don't think I need to go into much detail for his effects. They are very simple at heart, not very complicated, yet very powerful, and I really like that. So it'll be really interesting to see how he performs in zombie mirror matches. And our next card is going to be Tatsu Necro. If you use this normal summon or set card as material for a Synchro summon, you can use one monster in your hand as one of the other Synchro materials. But if you do, you banish all of the Synchro materials for this summon instead of sending them to the graveyard. And as long as this monster is in a monster zone, you cannot special summon monsters except zombie monsters, which shouldn't be too much of a problem. Nice support card there. And up next we have the main deck boss for this structure deck, the Spirit King Drochshúile. First effect, which is a quick effect. When the effect of a zombie monster except Drochshúile activates, you can activate one of these effects. And each of these effects can only be used once per turn. 1. You can either negate the effect, or 2. You can either banish a monster on either player's field or in either player's graveyard. This card named second effect can only be activated once per turn during either player's standby phase. As long as there is a face-up card on the field, you can special summon this card from your graveyard in defense position. So I think you guys can already tell how lethal this card is going to be. It's basically infinitely revivable as long as your opponent doesn't banish it, but even if they do, this deck has ways of dealing with it, as you guys will be able to see later. But of course, you can just keep on reviving him, and in conjunction with his first effect, that's going to cause a lot of trouble for your opponent to deal with. And up next we have a super rare in the form of the Otherworldly Banshee. As long as this card is in a monster zone, neither player can target or destroy zombie world in the field zone with card effects. This monster named second effect can only be activated once per turn. You can banish this face-up card from your field or the graveyard and activate one zombie world from your hand or deck. And this is a quick effect, so you can activate it also on the opponent's turn. So very powerful searcher for the zombie world field spell, which is going to be very powerful for this deck. And now we have a zombified version of Glow Up Bulb in the form of Glow Up Bloom. This card name's effect can only be activated once per turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card, and you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except zombie monsters. Also, add one level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck to your hand. But if there is a zombie world in a field zone on the field, you can instead special summon one level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck. So pretty nice solid support. You can use it to special summon the main deck boss Drochshúile, as we saw just now, or any other powerful high level zombie monster in your main deck as well. And now it looks like we've entered the realm of reprints, and now we have Shiranui Hermit, followed by Uni Zombie, both as normal parallel rares. And alright, I think these are the new spells and traps in this deck, and we are starting off with Undead or Zombie Necronize. You can only use one of this card name's effects per turn, and only once that turn. First effect. If a level 5 or higher zombie monster is on the field, target one monster your opponent controls and take control of it until the end phase. So very nice effect. You can sort of disrupt your opponent and then use their monsters as synchro material as well. Second effect. If this card is in the graveyard, you can shuffle one of your banished zombie monsters into the deck. And if you do, set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So as I was saying earlier, this is how this deck actually gets around banishing, because it has quite a few effects that actually let you recycle the cards that you have banished back into your main deck. And at the same time, you can also recycle this card as well in order to gain more control over more of your opponent's monsters. And up next, we have another epic looking card. This is going to be a quick play magic called Undead Struggle, or maybe in the TCG it'll probably be called Zombie Struggle, and it looks really awesome, depicting like a Drochshúile facing Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon fighting for zombie supremacy. First effect. Target one zombie monster on the field. Make it either gain or lose 1000 attack until the end of this turn. So just a nice power buff there, or a possible debuff for your opponent's monsters. This card named second effect can only be activated once per turn. If this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle one of your banished zombie monsters into the deck. And if you do, set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So very similar to the Undead Necronize that we just saw. It can help you regain your banished monsters while at the same time allowing you to refuel its effect. And next we have the field spell card. Of course, you can't play this deck without it. Undead World, also known as Zombie World. I think you guys will already know, but this card basically makes all monsters on the field and in both players' graveyards become zombie monsters, and neither player can tribute summon monsters except zombie monsters. So once all of your opponent's monsters are zombified, you can basically take control of them from the graveyard with Red Eye Zombie Necro, and you can also negate their effects with Drochshúile. So basically this is the real important key card that you're going to need for this deck, which is why we have Otherworldly Banshee in order to like immediately search and activate it. Alright, and up next we have a new trap card as well, Return of Undead. This card name's first and second effects can only be activated once per turn. First effect, banish one zombie monster from the field, then special summon one zombie monster from the controller's graveyard to their field in defense position. So basically, if you don't have your field spell yet, you can basically use this card in order to power up your field by exchanging your weaker zombie monsters for stronger ones that have already been sent to the graveyard. And then finally, if you do have Zombie World and all of your opponent's monsters are zombified, you can basically use it to basically wreck the opponent's field, get rid of their strong monsters, especially by banishing them, and then replacing them with basically like maybe just their weak material monsters that are in their graveyard. Second effect, similar to the first two new spells we saw earlier, if this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle one of your banished zombie monsters into the deck, and if you do, set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So simple banish recovery again. Alright, and it looks like we are down to the non-foil cards, which are going to be probably all reprints. So Kasha and the original Red Eye Zombie Dragon, nice. Darkness Gear Koan. We're just gonna go through the rest of these reprints because I'm pretty sure you guys, especially those of you guys who play zombie decks, will be pretty much familiar with these cards by now. Mezuki, Gozuki, those two, Shuten Doji. Oh my god, Pyramid Turtle reprinted in this deck. Now that's a card I did not expect to see. Alright. And I think it's about time we reach the spells and ooh, Scapegoats, this is nice. Alright, and now we are into the reprinted spells and traps, which should be soon. Foolish Burial, Monster Gate. Alright, different dimension Burial. Alright, that should be almost pretty much it, and yes, I believe this is the last card in this deck, and that will be all for this Structure Deck R Undead World opening. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a like and let me know what you guys think about this brand new deck in the comment section down below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for future Yugioh OCG product openings on the day of release. Personally, I'm really looking forward to see how this new deck and the new cards inside will actually open up new possibilities for Vendread users, cause that is definitely one of the new archetypes that I'm paying attention to right now. Our next release is going to be the next main booster, Savage Strike, on October 13, which I'm really looking forward to because it's going to bring synchro summoning to the Link era, and we'll get to see Revolver's brand new ace monster, Voral Load Savage Dragon, which I am really hoping to pull. And with that, hope to see you guys in the next Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. Share it, declare it, tell me, can you see? I drift in darkness in search of memories.